Question. How do we call him? He gave us a signal.
What up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham adversaries? It's your boy Trey of the Bat Channel, and we are live from the Bat Cave. Before we begin, where's my super bro, Corey? Where you at, big fella? Oh, you're muted.
I muted myself. What's up, everybody? How are we doing tonight? Wasn't Warner Brothers? That was me this time. My bad.
No. It's always Warner Brothers. Always
Warner Brothers.
Oh man, how you doing, big fella?
Doing well. How are you doing, my friend?
Man, doing good. I mean, I kind of laughed a little bit when at the end of our opener we have that little thunderstorm because it's been raining all day, as you already know, in Colorado.
Yes. So hopefully, it's an electrical storm today. So it's coming in, lightning and everything. So hopefully we make it through the show just fine. Otherwise, Warner Brothers probably just push some storms our way and trying to affect us any way they can.
They don't like us talking. I mean, I've noticed they're doing this to a lot of YouTube channels. And anytime someone starts talking bad about Warner Brothers, all of a sudden they start have like technical difficulties.
Right.
So, I mean, they must have like an agreement with YouTube or some little algorithm that like puts a little bug in there. When they hear the word toxic bros, they're like,
yeah.
But
so
whatever.
Hey Trey, we got a lot of awesome people here watching tonight, so we'll give a few shout outs real quick.
Yes. Trevor H, what up, brother? How's it going? So excited for this. Yes, I am too. I am super dope. Let's see. Release the Snyder Cut guy, man. You were hilarious last time. I just still love that profile pic too, man, from the Harley Quinn show.
So funny
with all the comics and Batman. Oh yeah. Hey, thank you, sir. Corey put the video together. I wrote the music for it. And I actually wrote the music for that during, what was it called? It was this Zack Snyder Justice League event where, like they were doing the powerful art thing. It was like to help raise money for kids who needed art supplies for their school and things like that. So I did a music thing for it. But Yellow Devil, what up, brother? Had to restart the stream because I didn't see the comments that were put on screen in the actual chat. Damn you, YouTube. It's Warner Brothers, Yellow Devil. It's Warner Brothers.
And you know what? Yellow Devil brought up a great question a little bit earlier today. And I commented in the chat, but I figured you could bring it up right now. So it's a Saturday night special, everybody. What is up? So Yellow Devil said, guys, is this Sunday stream or will you stream tomorrow too? Kind of confused by the timing. So we're throwing everybody off whack. We're trying to keep Warner Brothers guessing.
That's true. Yes. I mean, the element of surprise. So actually what we're doing today, Yellow Devil, I don't know if you guys celebrate this in Germany, but tomorrow is Mother's Day. So Corey and I are going to be celebrating with our mother, like good children, because I mean, how can you not celebrate, Martha Day and, it was, I heard like screaming in the background. Was that like,
probably.
Nazgul, what's up, brother? How's it going, my man? Oh, see, Dad's watching. See, now I have to like say, yes, we're celebrating Mother's Day because Mom is the best. Father's Day we kind of forget about, but whatever.
So yeah, if you're watching right now, definitely say hi to us in the chat. We're going to have a great show for you guys tonight. I'm pretty excited.
No, Corey. Not just a great show. We're going to have a damn good show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man,
what you drinking over there tonight, buddy?
Ooh, tonight I'm doing because I'm feeling a little dangerous. Some Guinness. I'm doing some Jason Momoa Guinness. So
feeling dangerous.
Yeah. How about you, big fella?
Rocking the ale horn again, but we're drinking some German Prost beer.
German Prost beer?
Yeah, some Prost beer is pretty good stuff, man.
And that Yellow Devil's getting me excited about that. Some German beer.
Yep.
There we go. Hey. Let us know. Hey, if anyone is drinking with us on our live stream, let us know what you're digging a little sip with. The little sip.
All right.
Cheers about them. All right. Are you guys ready to get this? Before we start, make sure you guys share this video, because if you share it and tag us on one of our social media accounts, whether it's on Twitter at _Bat Channel or Facebook at Holy Bat Channel, you get put into our giveaway for the Release the Snyder Cut book that will randomly select the winner once we hit 1,000 subscribers, which I think, Corey, we're almost like, are we 35 away?
We're getting close, man.
Close.
We're getting
which
close.
Is crazy. It's not even a year yet. We still got like 2.5 months before it's a year.
Right. And if you don't want to listen to Trey and you don't want to listen to me, at least listen to the Release of the Snyder Cut guy. Smash the like and subscribe button, people.
I like this guy. I like the Snyder Cut guy. He's awesome. Oh man, that's so awesome. But yeah, make sure to share this video, and we'll, like you said, we'll randomly select a winner. But the cool thing is, once we randomly select the winner and we reach out to that person, I've already been in touch with Sean O'Connell. We're gonna have him sign it for you. So that's pretty cool and exciting. I mean, I get mine signed too, because why not? The guy, might as well. Well, don't know him personally, but like he's, we've been in touch, about the giveaway stuff. So I'm excited to have it signed by the guy who wrote the book that, kind of helped. I truly think, because he, as some people know, he was not the biggest Zack Snyder supporter. So. And honestly, I know some people could debate if he is a Snyder Cut supporter even to this day, but as some people say, good publicity, bad publicity is good publicity. He helped kind of with that area of like promoting the cause of Release the Snyder Cut and telling people about the good side of our community of, raising money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So to me, that's what it's all about. And now that he has a book about it that kind of gives you the backstory for the Snyder Cut and how we got here, to me, that's awesome. I love reading about, because this is something you're going to want to remember. This is, if you're a part of the Snyder Cut community, you can look at this book and tell your children one day, like, I was a part of this. I was one of those people, trending the hell out of Release the Snyder Cut, all those years ago. Yeah,
so we talked about this, Trey, last week, that, I'll read here and there, but I love listening to Audible books. I looked it up. It's available right now on Audible, and it's George Newbern, who is the voice of reading that book. And if you're not familiar with George Newbern, Trey, it's
no.
The best, obviously he's done like Superman and different characters like that, I believe, but he in the animated series, but he's also Brian McKenzie in Father of the Bride.
No way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I had to think about like Brian McKenzie, like, oh my god, dude, I haven't watched that movie in a while. That's fantastic. Oh man, well that's cool. Hey, thank you, Trev. Yeah, it'd be awesome to hit 1,000 subscribers, because I know one thing, we're still gathering videos for the Hallelujah Snyder Cut video that Corey and I are working on. So if you guys are still interested in that, you can definitely get to us. But yeah, we're still working on that. And I've kind of decided that when the video is done, we are going to wait to showcase it once we hit 1,000 subscribers. Because I think, Corey, you might know better than I. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we get a super chat thing where people can actually put in money to either ask questions or, to just be generous to us and say, hey, you guys are you guys are somewhat cool.
Or
Here's
donate to the American Foundation for Suicide
Yeah,
Prevention.
which is exactly what I was thinking about doing it. So when we release that video, that entire stream that we're gonna do, I'm hoping to make it like a really big premiere event with maybe getting a few people on. Hopefully, I can get the celebrity that did the video with us. Hopefully, I can get them on to kind of hype it up and to kind of raise money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So that's kind of my plan at this moment with that. So let your friends know about us, because that video is gonna be special, man. I'm super excited for that.
And Yellow Devil, 35 away from your retirement. We ain't quitting at 1,000, baby. We going all the way to the top.
Going all
the
the
show
way.
Goes on. The show goes on.
I'm not fucking leaving. Cameron Parker, what's up, bud? I mean, you and I are going to be playing some video games a little later in the night. Saving the world from justice. Trey is the best thing to ever happen to the DC universe. Put Trey into the DC Hall of Fame. Is there even a DC Hall of Fame? That'd be cool. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, man. That means a lot.
So we ready to do this, Trey? We ready to do this, big fella?
I'm ready to do this. So, guys, as you know, today we're not doing a review video of Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think we are on part 5. Today, a lot of stories have been breaking and a lot of headlines have been going on that honestly have been kind of pissing me off a little bit. A lot of negativity about the SnyderVerse being dead. Now, Corey, go ahead and pull up that first slide. Kind of what set it off, I feel like, was this interview that came out just like a few days ago. I think like May 6th, with Zevi, and I think it's like a British YouTube channel. But she did an interview with Zack Snyder and Deborah, his wife, and she asked him, "Hey, like, would you be interested in continuing the SnyderVerse?" And Zach gave the answer that we've all heard before. He didn't add anything new that we didn't already know. I think what irritated people was the day this was released. It was like May 6th, so just a few days ago. I get the impression that this interview was done before the Snyder Cut was released, because in the interview, Deborah says, "We just finished everything with Zack Snyder's Justice League." So like saying like they finished all the production, all the cuts, all the things that put the film together, all the film editing. And she said just a few weeks ago. So that kind of puts me into, okay, well, that's like late February timeline. As they're getting ready to promote Zack Snyder's Justice League. Why they waited so long to release this video, I'm not sure, but I mean, it worked because it got everyone like, "Oh man, well, Zack said, that Warner Brothers doesn't want to continue his universe anymore." I mean, we knew that already. Like, of course, Warner Brothers does not want to continue his universe. It's a reminder of how they suck, of how they failed, and how they intervened in something that could have been huge. And it kind of this whole thing kind of trickled down. I feel like it was the epicenter that kind of exploded into things. And we got this new article. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Corey. With J.J. Abrams, as we all know, is working on a Superman story with oh gosh, I'm trying to remember his name. The writer, I think it's like Coates, something like that. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. I'd probably biff it if I try to pronounce it as well. But he's working on the Superman family. He's also doing like Justice League Dark with like Constantine, and I think something else. But the thing that sucks about this, okay, is like I think it's what we're all thinking, right? It's this constant, how long has it been 10? It's been 10 years now, just about, since we've gotten a Man of Steel sequel. We had the first Man of Steel film. No, it's not been 10 years. Oh gosh, maybe it was 10 years when they started the project. I think it came out in 2013 technically. So we're getting there. The point is, it's been too long since we've had a Man of Steel sequel. So you have this brilliant actor who fits the role perfectly, and Warner Brothers is directing all their time to a completely reboot of Superman. So an article came out from the Hollywood Reporter, which you can kind of refer by then. If it's coming from the Hollywood Reporter, it's pretty factual. Most of their sources are actually within Warner Brothers, DC Films, and they kind of are told what to say, what not to say in their articles usually. So Warner Brothers is like said they're looking for a black film director. So it's not going to be J.J. Abrams. He's just kind of, I think they're kind of hoping J.J. Abrams is going to be the next, Zack Snyder, the person leading this universe. It's going to be his vision. I say it's Hamada's vision. But the thing that the Hollywood Reporter also said is that apparently they're not looking at doing a comic book accurate Black Superman. As we know, there is a Black Superman in the multiverse. It's Calvin Ellis, which I think is like Earth 2, New 52 Superman. And then there's Val Zod, but apparently it's not going to be either one of those. It's going to be a Clark Kent, Clark Kent Kal-El. Sorry, I was going to say Jor-El, which I mean, and the BS of all of this is that they announced it on Henry Cavill's 38th birthday. Warner Bros. Had its chance. Yeah, man. I can't imagine how pissed he is. Corey, how did you? I know you're a huge Henry Cavill fan. How did it make you feel, big fella?
What?
You love Superman. What the hell, dude?
I'm mad, man. What the hell? How can they do that to Henry Cavill? Number one, somebody needs to save that man.
Yeah,
somebody needs to save me because I'm upset. I'm frustrated.
You're frustrated. You're pissed. Yeah, man. It's definitely a shitty situation for him. And it's actually, I'm almost surprised that you played that video, Corey, because Corey didn't tell me he was doing that. Smallville, which I just finished Smallville like a month and a half ago or something like that. But it's interesting that you play that because I just heard about a interview that Tom Welling did with, I think, the actor who played Lex Luthor, Michael Rosenbaum, something like that. It's something like that. And he apparently said that he would love to return as Superman, but the Superman in Robert Pattinson's Batman universe.
Oh,
which is interesting. I don't think that's going to happen just because I think they're doing a very kind of similar to Christopher Nolan's very grounded Batman. I know there's a Halloween costume party somewhere in that movie with someone who was dressed up like Superman and Wonder Woman, but I think that was just kind of like a tease, not really they're going to do anything with that. But Comic Book Craig Movie says no one wants this crap. We are not done with Cavill's Superman. If his arc is finished, then fine, but don't race swap, do a Calvin Ellis or Val Zod. This is going to crash and burn like Krypton. Yeah. Hey,
Henry Cavill is Superman. Henry Cavill is Superman.
I agree with that. Hey,
I need that little. Go for it, Trey.
Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead.
We need that little little dot follow the words for Warner Brothers. Henry Cavill is Superman.
A little sing-along for them.
Restore the SnyderVerse.
I dig that. That would be cool. We might just make like a little coloring book for the DC Films people. But Yellow Devil says, wait, Clark Kent Black reboot. What the disrespect to Superman and other Black multiverse versions. Yeah, absolutely. So I will say, when I read the Hollywood Reporter article, I got the sense that they were kind of just throwing that out there, that it wasn't like confirmed. So I want to be like honest with you guys, but we'll talk at this as if it is how they're going to go about it. So like, do they even read the fucking comics? A Black Superman, why Clark Kent? So as Nazgul says, Warner Brothers just doing what Warner Brothers does best, screwing up in every conceivable way. Absolutely right, Nazgul. I mean, it's kind of like, oh man, like what are they going for? That's like my question. Like if you were doing the multiverse Superman, then why not Calvin Ellis? That was kind of the play off of Clark Kent, right? Or Kal-El, with Calvin Ellis. Dad says everything about Warner Brothers sucks. Yeah. I'm not gonna. Nope. It's still. Oh my god.
Warner Brothers sucks. The peanut gallery showed up tonight. The peanut gallery showed up.
Oh man, that's so funny. See, now I can't even think straight. I did not expect Dad to do that, but it's the stupid thing of what are they going for? Are they trying to showcase that oh, look at us, we're thinking forward, we're socially forward and things like that, and if that is the case, then why not spend the time to develop the black superheroes that you already have in stored, like John Stewart Green Lantern, like Static Shock? I'm actually kind of excited for Static Shock. I remember that TV show when I was a kid, and I heard they were talking about having the actor from Stranger Things do it, so I mean that would be cool. Comic Book Craig movie says can't wait for Black Shang-Chi and White no. Wonder Woman will soon be a man.
And we had a conversation about this last night, Trey. While I was with you at your house, and our good friend Julian was talking about it as well. And I go back and forth with this, man. I'm done with hearing the same stories over again. Trying to rebuild other stories. But he did say one thing that was interesting, and I always like to, kind of stay on the positive side of things,
Yeah.
He mentioned to me, is if this is what, is needed in order to, get more people interested in comics and different things like that to help support the industry as a whole, then isn't that a good thing? And, I see where he's coming from, and I agree with what he's saying. I want the SnyderVerse to be restored. I'll still go see this, new Superman that.
Oh, will you?
Yeah, I'll still go and see it,
Interesting.
But I want Henry Cavill to be Superman, man. For me, it's piqued my curiosity a little bit. So I feel like being such a Superman fan, I want to go see it, but I'm upset. I'm frustrated.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing that I look at it, because I understand what Julian was saying, but to me, it's we already have characters that are interesting, that actually tell a very good story and a social story of characters that are, maybe come from a different place that you and I do, like with Cyborg. I mean, and here's the funny thing I wondered, bringing up Cyborg, and the question I have for you guys watching the show right now. Is Warner Brothers trying to deflect from Ray Fisher's allegation by having a black Superman? Because the reason why I wonder about this is, once again, why not use we don't want to see the same story rehashed and rebooted, all the time, right? We don't need to see another Clark Kent story other than Henry Cavill's Clark Kent story. What story are you going to tell about Superman that you're not going to be blind to what you did in Justice League with Ray Fisher's character? And here's how I kind of look at it with I'm trying to figure out how to word this right. So, as some of you may know from the Ray Fisher allegations with him talking about Jeff Johns, he had said that Cyborg can't be an angry black man. Okay, so already, and they try to make an racial issue out of that, when maybe, and honestly, when you looked at that story, I didn't see something that was inappropriate racially with Zack Snyder's Justice League storyline with Ray's character arc, as Cyborg, but they told Zack to cut that out because they couldn't have an angry black man. And yet, okay, so you can't have an angry black man, and what people were getting mad about with Superman in Henry Cavill Superman from Man of Steel was that he was too dark. So now you're going to have a smiling black Superman, and yet you don't think that's like blind to the situation and the social awareness. You know, like what story are you trying to, like, you're gonna have to explain, because you're trying to, some people would say, a woke character arc, you know, of Superman with, you know, him being a black Clark Kent. So like you have to ask yourself, what are you trying to say with that character? What story, what lesson, what, you know, hero's journey are you trying to put them through? You know, by that. And why, if that's like, if you're just trying to make a social story out of it, then you already have characters that already do that, like Calvin Ellis, Val Zod, you have Static Shock, you have Cyborg, you have John Stewart as Green Lantern. You know, you and right now, because of Zack Snyder's Justice League, you have John Johns, you know, with the Martian Manhunter. So I really look at that and go, like, what's the point of doing a black Clark Kent? And the only thing that I can think of what they possibly want out of it is to show, hey, we're not racist. We're not a racist studio, like Ray Fisher said, because look, we have a black Superman. Corey, go ahead and pull up some of the slides we have.
Yeah, let's do you want to go to comments first about what people are saying?
Sure, yeah, we can do that.
All right. So Nazgul says, it's like Disney sent some sleeper agents to Warner Brothers to sabotage them. And those agents are now running Warner Brothers. That's how stupid their business decisions are.
Yeah. I mean, you have to give Disney some credit, though. I mean, Disney, if they would have followed through Zach's plan, you know, Warner Brothers would look really, really smart right now. But they panicked because they had super high expectations. That was not fair at all. Comic Book Craig Movie says Hollywood is right out of ideas at this point. I'm glad I have an extensive Blu-ray DVD collection to fall back on. Yeah, I mean, once Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out on DVD, right? I mean, then I'll have like my DC package that I watch, and who knows if I'll watch the future stuff. Yellow Devil says no. Warner Brothers just wants to signal to the casual audience that J.J. Abrams' DC universe won't be like Snyder's movies, a soft reboot through a new distinct tone. Yeah, they did kind of talk about that in the Hollywood article of how the tone would be definitely very different than Zach's vision with Henry Cavill. Comic Book Craig Movie says it's a smokescreen where, look, we are not racist. We are giving you a black Superman, and it's Kal-El as well. Yeah, and that's where I just say the story just doesn't make sense. Like, how are you going to explain that character? Like, when we already have characters who are going through the problems that Clark Kent doesn't go through. You're gonna have to change who Clark Kent is as a person to really, you know, put in that story. And to me, it's like, isn't that a disservice to not only the character but to the social awareness that you guys are trying to do? Like, because you have characters that already embody that story. Like, give them a chance. You know, you're never gonna have anything new if you don't give it a chance. Nazgul says none of this is legit. It's just an easy way to try and muzzle us. If you are against this, you must not want it because Superman is going to be black.
You know, and do we know? Like, I know it's allegation still, right? That it's Clark Kent, or is it like, because if it's, you know, oh gosh, I spaced.
Hollywood article,
like Val Zod, you know, or something like that. You know, like that to me is a cool line, and that's something I would be interested in watching.
Well,
but
they kind of in a way tease that in Krypton, the show Krypton, which we hear from actors that Jeff Johns was kind of a pain in the ass to deal with during that show. So you're starting to see a common, you know, theme happen throughout all these movies and shows that Jeff Johns is working on, where he just brings up issues that, you know, don't really matter. But, you know, I'm trying to think what the word we were just saying. Corey, do you recall? Yeah, I was like starting to go in this direction, then I lost it. But to me, sorry,
no, I got distracted there for a second.
Oh, is Dad still messing with you, Dad?
Yeah.
Stop it. We're trying to do a show. You know, it's just, to me, it's like, it's just not fair. But like Henry Cavill, you know, here's where I was going to go. Henry Cavill is a wonderful Superman, right? And so I was looking on social media and people were saying, oh, Henry Cavill unfollowed DC Comics and Warner Brothers. And there were some people like, well, no, he didn't. But like I saw so many people talking about it, and like even Grace Randolph brought it up. And sometimes Grace's sources I don't always trust, or like when she has certain theories that like sometimes don't make sense. I mean, she often said that Jared Leto was the key to restoring the Snyderverse. And while that would have been a cool thing for it to be, we're in that Hollywood article, they said they were already working on a Joker sequel with Joaquin Phoenix. So it's like, how much is he the key to it? So she was kind of wrong on that. Like they have no plans to bring Jared Leto back. Comic Book Craig Movie says, so where's Superman's ship going to crash? Harlem in the 50s? Are Ma and Pa Kent going to be black? I'm not sure.
It's a great question, because like obviously would they change some of the storyline? Does he still end up on a farm? I've
heard a lot of people say it would still be a period piece, like they said 20th century. So I mean, maybe that's the case. Maybe he's raised. I mean, it's kind of a cool idea to maybe have a black Superman, a black Clark Kent, maybe even raised by still a Jonathan Kent, white Jonathan Kent, white Martha Kent, who are trying to help him through this, through those difficult times that, our society was especially in during those times. But like, I don't know. I just don't see how you can make a better story by taking Kal-El and not another character like Cyborg and Jon Stewart and all those other characters who actually have a story ready to go for you to build around. I just don't see like what's the point other than you're trying to say, look, we're not racist.
And clearly, there's been questions about them being that,
with Ray Fisher. They fired Ray Fisher, guys. They fired him from The Flash because he spoke out, and they didn't say he was wrong about his allegations. Here's what the issue became is that, and he says it in one of his tweets. Do y'all remember that time Walter Hamada and Warner Brother Pictures tried to destroy a black man's credibility and publicly delegitimize a very serious investigation with lies in the press? But hey, Black Superman, accountability over entertainment. Yeah. And they fired him, guys. Like, so to me, it's like he came out and spoke. And I think the issue was when Walter Hamada, like he was willing, and Ray even said it in another tweet of his, that Walter Hamada was willing to throw Josh Whedon under the bus. But when it came to Jeff Johns, who enabled the bad behavior, and I think John Berg was the other one, enabled the bad behavior with, Josh Whedon and Jeff Johns and all those guys, Walter Hamada was like, please, like we'll throw Josh, but like leave Jeff Johns. And about because Jeff Johns was like still their golden boy. He had all these plans and all. He was going to be the center of their Kevin Feige, and because Walter Hamada did that, now you had an issue with Ray Fisher. And as we know about Ray Fisher, he's not going to let that shit go unless if you take care of the problem, which they have decided not to take care of the problem. They decided to silence him by firing him and acting like it never happened. They told us they were going to let us know what they found in their investigation. Where has that article been? I think that, the investigation ended. I mean, has it been I don't think it's been a year, because I think he came out with his allegations in May, as soon as they announced the Snyder Cut coming out. So I think it was a couple months ago when they, or maybe it was last year, late last year, when they said they finalized the investigation that they would be taking, certain steps to rectify the situation. But it's been a while. We haven't heard anything. If anything, they've been dead silent about it. And anytime Ray has mentioned something about it, they try to deflect. They try to come out with a puff piece, that completely it tries to ignore what he said and hopefully take the attention onto Frosty the Snowman with Jason Momoa, which Jason Momoa, thank God for him for coming out and saying like, no, I'm not doing anything like that. Someone came out with that bullshit thing, so
The things that I kind of, want to pick up on too from what you said is,
Mhm.
that honest opinion there where they said, don't pretend Warner Brothers is doing this because they care about diversity either. They are using it as a shield to deflect criticism. Don't forget they fired Ray Fisher from The Flash for speaking out. And then, I love Ray Fisher's tweet, hiring more Black people doesn't negate or erase the terrible ways that you have treated your Black employees. Just apologize, A over E. So, it's a publicity stunt what they're trying to do right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's my issue with it. Like, and once again, if they truly cared about a multiverse, then yeah, have your Black Superman. But where the hell is Henry Cavill? Where the hell is Ben Affleck's Batman? With Deathstroke and Robert Pattinson's Batman doing his thing. Yeah, he's doing the Flashpoint film with Ezra Miller and Michael Keaton. But then where's Cyborg's film? We haven't gotten a Cyborg film. You had a wonderful opportunity with a Black actor who is up and coming. He wouldn't have cost a lot of money to do. It would have been really cheap to do a Cyborg film, and they dropped the ball on it. Because now we have an issue with Ray Fisher because he's coming out with things that we don't want to talk about. But Comic Book Craig movie says Gal Gadot just got an interview released where she said Joss threatened her career. Yeah, that she actually took that to Warner Brothers. And I think Patty Jenkins went with her on that. I'm trying to think what she had a meeting with, I believe at the time it would have been Warner Media execs. And kind of just said, this is the bullshit. This is what they're, Josh is doing. He threatened my career because she wouldn't let Ezra Miller fall on her breast, because that was a joke that freaking Josh used in Age of Ultron with Black Widow and Hulk. Totally degrading to her character that she would never let happen. And what, for a weird laugh? Like, if people are laughing at that, why? I remember sitting in the theater and going, huh? Like, what was the purpose of that? Nazgul says rectify what issue with Warner Bros. Yeah, like, to them, they're blind. Yeah, I stand with Ray Fisher. I agree. Like, and Ray has been always very, listen to the facts. He's like, don't just listen to me. Listen to what others are saying. Listen to what they're doing. And as Ray kind of said, like, the fact that they remain silent every time he brings something out, other than they try to deflect and bring attention to somewhere else, I think says some things, right? So
do you think, Trey, that Ray Fisher may be the key to restoring the SnyderVerse? Until they apologize, until we get a Cyborg movie,
I don't expect them to apologize.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't apologized now. Like, what's going to force them to apologize? At this point, they're getting away with it. They're able to continue, the Flash movie without Ray Fisher's character as Cyborg. They're able to create a Black Superman and say, hey, we're not racist. And yet they dropped the ball on Green Lantern with Wayne T. Carr's character. Like, a quick little thing. Here you go. And here, if you want more proof of why Warner Brothers is so full of shit, they told Zach that he couldn't use John Stewart as Green Lantern because they had a plan for him. No, they didn't. They didn't have a plan for him. When they announced the Green Lantern Corps show, I think back in late 2020, it was going to be, they specifically said in that article that Hal Jordan and John Stewart weren't going to be the leads or in this show because they wanted to focus on some of the lesser known, Green Lanterns out there, which, hey, that's cool. But it wasn't until just recently that they were like, hey, John Stewart is going to be the lead in our Green Lantern show. You just casted the dude for, oh gosh, I'm totally, Kyle Rayner? I can't remember. Another Green Lantern. They just casted who was supposed to be the lead for the Green Lantern Corps, and now all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're going to have John Stewart, but we have no idea who's playing him yet. Like, what? Like, where did that came out of nowhere? Like, what are you thinking? So
I agree with Yeah, I agree with what Nazgul says. We are the key, if there is one, to restoring the Snyderverse. I just feel like, they need to make it right with Ray Fisher, and I think we need to continue to stand by his side and support him and blast and hold. We have to continuously hold Warner Brothers accountable for their actions with Ray Fisher, but also with how they've treated Zack Snyder, Gal, everybody.
Yeah. So here's another question I have for you guys. Do you think there is still hope for us to restore the Snyderverse? Is there still hope? Hope starts with an S, and that's SnyderVerse. I mean, to me, one of the things that was very interesting was that, Ray even brought up Toby Emmerich. If you don't know who Toby Emmerich is, he is one of the main guys at Warner Brothers who was kind of really in charge of, some of the bullshit that went on during Justice League. He's one of the still guys that's still there from that whole situation, and who's kind of sleazed by. And Hollywood Reporter also came out with another article about it. So Corey, go ahead and go to the next slide. So here's what I think is interesting. So Toby Emmerich, his contract is up with Warner Brothers. I think they said in 18 months. And apparently, according to some of their sources, there was discussions that Toby was kind of already, feeling, other possible job opportunities. So he's searching because he's very well under the impression that he's not going to be back with Warner Brothers. And apparently he, someone, I think one of his agents or something like David Geffen, pitched him as an exec to Netflix. And Netflix was like, fuck no. And I loved that when this article came out, Ray Fisher had a little thing and said, just a heads up, Netflix, and whoever else may be concerned, I will continue to pursue accountability from Toby Emmerich wherever he may land. So even Ray Fisher is like, wherever this dude goes, I'm still going to continue to have accountability over entertainment. So my guess is this dude is not going to find a job. He might work at like a McDonald's, a Hamada Burgers, something like that. But it's very interesting because Toby Emmerich is definitely one of the issues with the whole Snyderverse. So here's where we're talking about, okay, things are starting to align a little bit. We got Toby Emmerich, who's probably going to be gone in 18 months. He was one of the people that caused a lot of the problems with Zack trying to make the film in his vision, and honestly created more problems later on. I'm hearing from some sources, I think Geekosity said this with Mikey Sutton, that it was actually Toby Emmerich's idea to do kind of a dual release with HBO Max and theater release, which it sounds like a lot of, well, I mean, we kind of heard Christopher Nolan, the famous director, talk about how stupid of that was with Warner Brothers. And I think he's kind of threatened that he will never work for Warner Brothers again because of that decision, which is huge because it's Christopher Nolan. Dude is like a visionary director who tends to be in the Oscar talk a lot. And he creates these incredible films that I don't know if they're ever like smashing box office hits, but like, I mean, other than, his Dark Knight trilogy, which made Warner Brothers a ton of money, but like he makes damn good films and they get notice, from the academies. They get a good chunk of their money back in profits, I think, for the most part. So, I mean, for him to come out and saying like, I'm done with Warner Brothers because of that situation, I think AT&T is like, you're out, dude. Like totally. Hey, oh my God, Cody. Yikes. Nolan is amazing, bro. Congratulations. So guys, Cody is Corey and I's cousin, and he recently graduated from school and proposed to his lady, and she said, yes, I'm so excited for you.
Congrats,
that's so cool.
Cody, and congrats, Rachel. How exciting.
Congrats, Cody and Rachel. I'm so excited for you guys. Like, oh man, I can't wait to hear all about it. I think this happened.
Cheers, brother.
Yesterday? Yeah, cheers.
Yeah,
cheers, yesterday. That's some exciting stuff, man.
We're pre-gaming now for the wedding. We're pre-gaming now.
Pre-gaming, yeah, all the way through.
So Trey, we have a lot of great comments. So let's take a look at them.
So Comic Book Craig Movie says the only way we can get the SnyderVerse now is if AT&T and HBO Max can intervene somehow, and if no one from Warner Brothers is involved. Yeah, you are spot on. The key here is AT&T. AT&T. I think AT&T is really the key because they need to step in soon. I know they kind of tried this approach of letting Warner Brothers and Warner Media do their thing and not getting in the way, which I understand. I appreciate that. You don't want another company kind of looking over you and be like, no. You kind of want creative control, right? Because it's your company, but everyone has a boss, and AT&T is the boss. They say how it goes. So AT&T is key. Yellow Devil says the only hope for it would be $300 million bombs for their next movies. Otherwise, their wallets will be fine. So that's interesting that you bring that up. I'm hearing that Warner Brothers is actually in debt right now. And that's one of the things of why they don't want to continue the SnyderVerse is that Zack tends to cost, not him personally, but his films tend to cost a little bit of money. So like, in other words, I think Batman v Superman had a budget of like $300 million, and that was including marketing. And then it was kind of similar with Man of Steel. I think it was like right around $240 million. And so to them, they're looking for kind of the lower budget films that can hopefully, do a little better. So
why don't they contract out to like a Netflix or something like that?
That would be lovely. I would love to see Netflix kind of take it over. So Dan Hansmith, Daddy-O, Bat Dad, says we're dealing with Hollywood egos. They can't keep letting the fans dictate their entertainment strategy. Yeah, a lot of them were super pissed that AT&T, remember, AT&T told Warner Media, you need to release the fucking Snyder Cut. We're getting so many messages about this damn thing. We're told it's practically done. Just do whatever it takes to get it out there, which is why Warner Brothers went to Zack and said in the beginning when they were negotiating doing a Snyder Cut, they said, hey, Zack, go ahead and release your unfinished, Justice League version. Just release it. It'll be fine. It'll get people off our back. And Zack was like, hard no. He knew what they were trying to do. Even then, when they were getting pushed by AT&T and the studio to release the Snyder Cut, they still wanted to be cheap about it. They still wanted to go in and be like, hey, we don't want you to spend a lot of money on it. Just release it. And Zack's like, the music's not done because you stopped me midway. The CGI is not done all the way because you stopped me midway. So no, we're not doing that because you're just going to come back and see, hey, look, see how it's sucky? See how this version that you asked for is terrible? Like, how dare they to do that shit? It just tells you that they really didn't want anything to do with the SnyderVerse. And, I mean, and here we have the Hamadaverse. So this is the thing, guys.
Sounds horrible. It sounds like shit.
The Hamadaverse. So I don't know if it's actually called the Hamadaverse. I just like when people refer to it as the Hamadaverse. I love that Jeff Johns is like right behind him with his like, oh, do you feel in charge? Like, truly, like he's the fucking villain in this. So Walter Hamada, this is not going to be easy, guys. Like when a lot of people say like, well, the release of Snyder Cut was the hardest part. I don't know if I believe that. I think the release of Snyder Cut was the easier thing to do because the film was practically done, right? It was practically done. They kicked in, AT&T and HBO Max kind of kicked in, another $70 million. So, Zack could finish it and make it the product that is because they were desperate for content on HBO Max, especially during COVID times when no one was making anything. Zack could do it all from his house and everyone from their CGI, building all the virtual effects and stuff like that. Walter Hamada, to restore the Snyderverse, it's going to be costly because they're going to have to put in a lot of films like, make the Batfleck movie, with Deathstroke. I mean, Ben Affleck is not cheap. I mean, he's a huge actor, and a high demand director right now. He's doing stuff for Disney. He's doing stuff all around. Nazgul says they want to be done with Zack, but he's sticking to their shoe. Yeah, absolutely. And it's sorry, go ahead.
We ain't go nowhere.
We ain't going nowhere.
Go nowhere. Because it's not a verse for life now.
SnyderVerse.
We ain't going nowhere. We ain't go nowhere.
There you go. A little, that's the Bat Channel musical for you guys to hashtag restore the snipers. But here's why I say it's not going to be easy this round to restore the Snyderverse. Every project that the Snyderverse includes is going to get pricey. Okay, it is. It is going to get a little pricey. But here's where I say I don't think it's going to be as pricey as Walter Hamada and Warner Media think it's going to be, because Zach just did Army of the Dead, and from what it looks like in that film, it looks amazing. And I think they only gave Zach, I heard anywhere from 60 to 110 million dollars to do that, probably even less. And so that's pretty cheap for a film nowadays. So if Zach can make that kind of film, then really he can do this, you know. So they're making it a bigger deal because they don't want to. But look at this. Exactly. Hamada is contracted. They just renewed his contract to 2023. And they really did that because they wanted to see how this initial film slate works with the Suicide Squad, the Batman, Black Adam, the Flash, Aquaman 2, Shazam, the Fury of the Gods. They really want to see how well those do, because if they're successful, then they're going to go, okay, you're doing a good job for us, Walter. Let's continue your contract and let's do your future slate that you're talking about doing right now. So Walter Hamada's approach is, because he's used to doing like horror films, you know, like The Conjuring with James Wan, who's doing Aquaman. He's used to that kind of thing. His whole, I guess you could say his formula for what he thinks works is low risk, you know, higher reward is what he thinks. Low risk, easier reward is what I should say. Low risk, easier reward. So he wants these low budget films like, you know, Plastic Man, which, like, why? You know, Our Man, which, Corey, do you even know who the fuck Our Man is?
No.
No, I have no idea who the hell Our Man is. Like, what the, like, I don't even know. So, and then you got, you know, this.
If you know who Our Man is, let us know in the chat.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be like, Trey, you're not a real, you know, DC fan. Like, I'm sorry, guys, I don't know all the DC characters. And I know Blue Beetle. I know about the Amazons. I know Zatanna. You know, I know Plastic Man because, you know, I watched the old Justice League show, you know, as a kid. You know, so I know some of this stuff. But he is very much into this low risk, easier reward, and that's why it's going to be tough to convince AT&T to restore the Snyderverse, because with low risk of a film, if it does fairly well, and I mean, like, the perfect example, Shazam, the first Shazam film. I think Shazam, the first film, was actually a pretty good film for what it was. Would I consider a masterpiece? No, it's not even in my top 5 for favorite DC films, you know, especially within the DCU. But here's why it was, everyone's like, oh man, it was a smashing success. It only made I don't think even passed $400 million. Nowadays, $400 million for a superhero film is a failure. The reason why it was considered a great success to Warner Brothers and DC is because they spent very little to make it. So this is why it's going to be super tough. You're going to have to try to convince AT&T, who likes money.
Okay.
No, I'm going to need you to get all the way off my back about it. Oh, let me get off that thing. You know, this is why it's going to be tough, because Dad says Our Man is the senior citizen age version of the Minutemen. Is that true? I think you're screwed with me. I think you're screwed with me. Like, come on, Dad. Cody says, insert Wolf of Wall Street gif. I'm not fucking leaving.
I use that all the time with Restore the Snyderverse.
Corey, we need to make a clip of that sometime so we can just interject that in our future shows. I'll have to figure out how to do that. But Yellow Dev says, Trey, don't lie to us. We know you're easy to please. Watching the weeding cut 40 times speaks for itself. Hashtag cats and bats. Restore the weeding cut. No.
What have we done?
No, just
what have we done? Oh,
see,
God, no.
For that. Oh God, no! Please, please, no more Josh Whedon ever again. So that's why I say, with his low risk, easier reward approach, it's gonna be tough to beat that and to convince Warner Media and AT&T to continue, because he's looking at doing spin-off shows like the GCPD with the Batman, with Robert Pattinson, that they're getting Jeffrey. I'm totally spacing the actor's name. I think his name is Jeffrey. I can't remember. But to get him to do James Gordon, to be in that show. So they're doing little spin-offs. They did plan to do the Trench, and the New Gods at one point, but they realized, as they kept talking about it was going to cost more money. So money is constantly on DC Films and Warner Brothers' minds. They don't want to spend as much money. They want to keep their money spending very little. So which is why they're choosing these characters that we don't really know about. Blue Beetle, no one, the general audience, for us DC fans, we know some of who these characters are, but they're not going to reach the wide audiences, really. These are all like, the best way I can kind of describe it, these are all like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of films for Marvel. Guardians of the Galaxy, I remember when they announced that film, and like, I will be honest, I'm not a huge Marvel fan. I do enjoy their stuff, but I wasn't a huge Marvel Comics person. So I didn't even know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were, what that team was. Look at that film now. Now everyone knows the Guardians of the Galaxy. Iron Man. No one knew who really Iron Man was until, Robert Downey Jr. took on that mantle and, blew it up. This is what they're hoping for. Sorry, Corey, what were we saying?
No, I was just doing my little Iron Man. Blah.
Get out. So Yellow Devil says, is that picture legit? Batgirl TV show? This is a slate that was, I believe, released as a lot of their future projects, which some of the, obviously the initial slate with Suicide Squad, the Batman, is very true. I think a lot of the to be determined ones are kind of in question. So the Superman, as we know, that's the Black Superman, so that is true. Static Shock, Michael B. Jordan is actually working on that, which he has said that he's not. It doesn't sound like he's going to be the Superman for the Black Superman character, which is unfortunate, because he would have done a great job, and honestly, he probably would have brought in the audience for that.
Didn't he post a tweet about, like, or did somebody make a tweet of him in a Superman suit?
I think he's retweeted that or something like that, because I know a few years ago, it might have been 5 years ago, he really wanted to do that role.
Do I know how we know there's a problem with Warner Brothers?
What?
When they make him Static Shock instead, they're like,
They won't make Michael B. Jordan Static Shock. He's just working on it. I think he's just
working on it.
Yeah,
okay.
he has his like I think he has a production company that worked on Creed, which Creed's, both those films were phenomenal. But so the bottom slate, I think, is a lot more of, hey, like, let's start these in development. Let's see how much it's, possibly going to cost, if we can make a good story out of it. So, I mean, who knows what's going to be really happening there, but we do know that Black Superman is happening. We do know that the Green Lantern Corps is happening. Yeah. We do know that the Wonder Woman 3 is obviously happening, which Wonder Woman 3 is going to take a long time before anything that happens, because Patty is stuck with 2 films that she has to do. I think one for Disney, and then she's doing like a Cleopatra movie with Gal. And then, I mean, so that we're looking at 6 to possibly 7-8 years before we get the next Wonder Woman film, just in all seriousness. So that's going to take some time. In terms of the Amazon show, last I heard, they were still planning on doing an Amazon show on HBO Max. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't, but I mean, I'm worried for those things, because if they have Jeff Johns is working on the Green Lantern Corps, who knows? I mean, me personally, I was not a huge fan of Wonder Woman 1984. I definitely preferred the first Wonder Woman film, compared to the 1984 film. I had a lot of issues with that 1984 film, that I think some of it was unredeemable, and story-wise was they did something with Wonder Woman and Gal Gadot's character that I was kind of like, this doesn't make sense. Like, why did we go this route? But
we need that review still, man.
We need what? We
need that review.
Oh, the Wonder Woman 1984. We will do that review after we finish Zack Snyder's Justice League review. Yeah. It's we really dive in deep with Zack Snyder's Justice League one, but I have an idea for the Wonder Woman 1984 review that is going to require a lot of work.
Yeah, I like it. I know it.
Yeah, so Corey knows about. I don't want to tell you guys about. I think what we're going to try to do with some of our reviews is we're going to try to actually. I always like to, when I review a movie, almost like, sometimes like, okay, well, like, here's what I would do differently. Here's like the one thing I would tweak story wise. And I'm a very visual person, so I like to see that idea come to life. So maybe we'll make a thing of it with the Bat Channel, with all our subscribers and people who watch our channel, to kind of do a collaboration to kind of create this idea and make it come to life of how I think they should have done Wonder Woman 1984, at least a specific scene that I think would have made a huge difference.
Before we leave the Hamadaverse side of things, I have to say, man, that the Batman 2022 animated trailer that you did a review on,
whoever
just
did that
yesterday, holy shit, man, that was freaking awesome.
I think
dude.
Art 91 Lee, that was like, whoever that person is, like, they did a really good job with that.
I have to be honest with you, I don't want to see Batman with what's his face, Vampire Boy, Robert Pattinson. I honestly want to see that as an animated series now because of that video.
Oh, like, yeah, I won't lie to you, because of him having like the white eyes and stuff like that. And the style of what it like made Gotham look like in Batman, I kind of did dig it a little more, because it did, like you said in the video, it reminded me of the year one Batman film, the Frank Miller version. So it was kind of cool, but I mean, I'm not sure if they'll, Robert Pattinson's, as far as Matt Reeves and Warner Brothers is concerned, is Batman right now. Cody says Rachel cried after the first Wonder Woman movie, but she couldn't even finish the second one. It was so disappointing. Yeah, and actually, Cody, I think you're more of a Marvel fan, right? I think you and I have had this conversation before, that you were more of a Marvel fan. But I mean, yeah, I think that says a lot. Train a Maxwell Lord cosplay? No, man, I can't do what Pedro Pascal does, man. he's so funny. Lisa, mom, hi mom, says, I'm thinking that there would have to be a major overhaul of Warner Brothers executive teams in order for there to be a chance of restoring the Snyderverse. Sirkin says, you think we should give up on the Snyderverse? No, I do not. Absolutely do not. So let's talk about this real quick. Corey, can you go to our next slide?
Yes, sir.
So AT&T, Dwayne Johnson, HBO Max, will they save it? This is the big question right now. We've heard from a lot of people that apparently Dwayne Johnson really enjoyed Zack Snyder's Justice League, that he would love to be a part of that universe. He wants his Black Adam to be a part of that universe. He wants his Black Adam to eventually go up against Henry Cavill as Superman. They have the same agent, so, I mean, is that likely? I think so. The question is going to be right now, we know for a fact that Warner Brothers does not want to continue the Snyderverse. So really, this requires, I think for the Snyderverse to exist, or continue, I should say, HBO Max is going to be that home. I don't think Warner Brothers is going to allow it to be in theaters until their films fail, if they fail. Which, like I said, that's going to be really tough, because they're easy, low risk, easy reward. So it's going to require AT&T to get involved. Now, just like they did for the Snyder Cut, when they demanded, HBO Max to take a look at it and see how to get it done. AT&T was the one that kicked in the $70 million, not Warner Brothers. So it's going to require AT&T to get involved. So how does that get done? AT&T loves the engagement. They are paying attention to everything we are doing. They are paying attention when we trend on social media, so we can't let up. We can't. And what I will tell you guys is, first off, let me ask this. What do you think we can do as a community to restore the Snyderverse? What are some things that you think will help? Or like, how do you think it's going to be possible to restore the Snyderverse? Who do you think, we need to reach out to? I mean, honestly, I think we still need to keep Jason Killar on the radar and like get him involved, reach out to him in terms of, tagging him in some of our tweets. And we have to keep positive, right? We can't spam people. We can't, be rude about things. We have to stay the positive community, because remember, every time we do something toxic, like the 7 people who apparently one-starred Godzilla versus Kong out of, I think it was like 87 people who one-starred, Godzilla versus Kong. They wrote about the 7 people who were said hashtag restore the SnyderVerse, Godzilla versus Kong suck. They made a huge article from these major places and talked about how toxic the Snyder community is. We can't have that. So if you see anyone doing that, you got to have them stop. We got to remain positive. We got to be raising money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We're closing in on that $1 million mark. That's going to be a huge moment, and hopefully a really public piece that a lot of people jump on that bandwagon to show how incredible this community is. But we got to continue the trending, doing the hashtag restore the SnyderVerse, hashtag release the air cut, which I truly believe the air cut is a big factor in restoring the SnyderVerse. I think it's a bigger factor than people give credit, because if you think about it, HBO Max needs content. The release, the air cut of Suicide Squad is done. It's ready to go. It might cost maybe 10 million to kind of fix it, re-edit it, and maybe fix some of the CGI if there was. But as far as I've heard from David Ayer, when I think he tweeted it or he did on Instagram, he said it's done. It just requires, he said specifically, AT&T and HBO Max to release it. If they release, only reason why they're not releasing the air cut, why Ann Sarnoff said we're not even looking at it, is simply because they know if they do release the air cut, then the SnyderVerse is restored, because it will show Warner Brothers and AT&T and Warner Media that when that film comes out, it's going to be a huge success. It's going to be, everyone's going to enjoy that film more than the Suicide Squad film that came out, and think in 2016, if I recall correctly. At that time, it's over, right? The SnyderVerse is going to be restored. So the air cut is huge in this. So hashtag release the shit out of air cut. Okay. Because that one is a different film. Jeff Johns really got involved in it. As we heard from David Ayer, Jeff Johns started adding stuff on the back end during the editing process that David Ayer wasn't even approving, with the whole Harley Quinn was involved when Joker killed Robin thing. She wasn't, according to David Ayer, she wasn't even fucking there yet. Wow. So, wow. And obviously there was a bit of a weird time jump there, because Joker had his teeth, all broken in and stuff like that, because Batman beat the shit out of him for killing for killing Robin. So how's it possible that she was there when she treats him shortly after that? Stupid, that just tells you stupid writing on Jeff Johns' part.
Wow.
So yeah, so really, release the air cut is going to be huge. AT&T needs to get involved. We need to continue trending on social media like we are now with hashtag restore the SnyderVerse. I think release the air cut trended over 50,000 tweets. If you recall, Legendary, they got so excited about 30,000 tweets for hashtag continue the Monsterverse, which I'm a Godzilla fan. I hope they do. I would love to see more Godzilla films, because like I said, I'm a Godzilla nut, but they got excited about 30,000. We do 50,000 just about every day, So the fact that they're just ignoring it says some shit, because they know if they release the air cut, it's over. So air cut is going to be huge in that. The UK, we need to sell out when Zack Snyder's Justice League becomes available in the US. The UK sold out of the 4K Blu-ray disc pre-order within 20 minutes. We need to do the same, because that is huge. AT&T is paying attention to that, because that's money. That's, wow. Look how many people wanted that. I guess we got to get a bigger supply in, right? They're going to do that. Zack Snyder's Justice League, when it it goes on sale in the US, we need to sell it out really, really quick. We need to, let's see, I'm thinking here. Sorry. So the Justice League, they came out with a 4K Justice League trailer on YouTube for Warner Brothers Entertainment for the 2017 film. You don't think they're paying attention to the engagement that only 5,000 people have liked that trailer and another 125,000 disliked it? I mean, that's not a good sign. You know, I mean, no one feels good when you send out, I mean, hell, I feel bad when I get 1 dislike or 2 dislikes on a video. You know, when we get, you know, they have over 120,000 dislikes for that video because people are like, what the hell are you thinking, Warner Brothers? Why did you release that thing? So that is engagement from the audience, from the viewers that AT&T and HBO Max are paying attention to. They're looking at that and going, oh God, that was probably not a good move, Warner Brothers. You know, so they're making themselves look like assholes. Sorry,
and I was wondering too, because, you know, like I agree with what you're saying that, you know, when people say the word toxic or bring up toxic when it comes to Zack Snyder Justice League, I agree that the only time it should be that word be used is when they're talking about or referring to the Warner Brothers. So I agree with what you're saying there. 120,000 dislikes, man. That's no joke on that 4K Justice League, the Justice League. I agree with what you're saying, and it's interesting too. I think in some ways, you know, that could be maybe perceived a little bit as toxic, you know, that we're, you know, hitting them with 120,000 dislikes. But I also think that they need to know too that, you know, this is not what we want. So thumbs down because we don't want it. You know, we want to restore the SnyderVerse. And
and I think that it says more of, you know, the fact that we are disliking. Some people look at it like, oh, they're, you know, spamming the hell out of that thing. When the truth is, no, people, the world has admitted, the entire world is saying that Zack Snyder's Justice League is a far superior film than that 2017 piece of shit. Because look at even Rotten Tomatoes, they went out and said, yeah, it's at least a 72% film, which from Rotten Tomatoes for a Zack Snyder film, that's saying a lot, because that means they fucking loved it, right? Because when Zack breaks 70, it's like, because the critics just tear him apart for some reason. They just don't like his films. So when he breaks 70, it's like a 90% film, which guess what? It is, according to the audience score, it's a 92% film. And if you look further into it, we'll get into what China thinks about it. It was recently released in China, but let's see. Yellow Devil says we can throw an AMP on the Warner Brothers servers. Then we leave a letter with, how about now, SnyderVerse, please? Nobody can predict the next EMP wipe overwise by. That might be illegal. Dante says it is not dead. With Warner Brothers, will know how bad they fucked up with the non-Snyder DC movies. Will not do the way they expect in the box office. Yeah, I mean, Dante, you're not wrong at all. My only worry with how they're going about their future DC film slate is, like you said, it's low risk, easier reward with a lot of their future to be determined film slate. Now, if the Batman fails, that could be really interesting. If the Batman fails, which I highly doubt it will, it's Batman. You know, Batman is such a hot item, and people, I think Matt Reeves is going to do a fairly good job, unless if Warner Brothers gets involved again and says, hey, you can't do the film like this, then it could fail. But from what I hear so far is that Matt Reeves has full creative control for his Batman film. So I think he's going to have the film that he wants. And so for that, I don't see the Batman failing. I don't see the Black. Sorry, go ahead.
Could you see Warner Brothers telling them that they need to make the Batman funny? I just see this coming up again.
No, no, please, God, no. I mean, and it's an unfortunate thing because, like, the Batman, it's probably going to be successful, but I would say if it doesn't break $1 billion, or if it doesn't get right there, it's a failure. Warner Brothers will look at it as a failure. So if it passes $900 million, they'll consider just where they want it to be, but they want it to beat $1 billion. Black Adam, they need that to easily break $800 million because it's Dwayne Johnson. He carries an audience with him, and it's a huge film. I think that one would do well. I think it's going to do well too. So therefore, once again, Hamada looks good, right? Look at me. And then you got the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad will be a great example. If that one fails miserably, then if it doesn't beat the 2016 Suicide Squad film for the box office, which I think was right about, was it 800 million or 700?
That sounds right.
Recall.
It won't, though. It's not going to beat that.
Maybe. I mean, who knows?
I don't think it will.
You don't think it will?
No.
I mean, I think the problem is because it's James Gunn, he might just convince a few of those Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy fans to come and support him. He might. He just
maybe,
might.
But where's the big actors?
Idris Elba is a pretty huge actor. I mean, he was part of what dragged the audience from Fast and the Furious, for the Hobbs and Shaw film, and then they had let's see, I'm trying to think, the Flash film that has Michael Keaton coming back, Ben Affleck's coming back, it's Ezra Miller. So technically, some people could look at it as maybe a continuation, kind of the SnyderVerse, even though they're kind of coming off. I think they said technically Justice League is canon for that film, which is stupid as hell, but then you got what was the final film in the first slate, Corey? Do you recall? I'm totally spacing. It's a lot of movies.
The Amazons? Was it the Amazons? Or...
No, Shazam! Fury of the Gods and
Shazam,
Aquaman 3.
Yes.
Sorry, Aquaman 2. Aquaman 2 is going to do well. The first Aquaman broke $1 billion. The Aquaman 2 film is going to do well. If it doesn't, then now you're gonna start seeing some interesting happens. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, I don't think that's going to blow up the box office. I think you're looking at the same, maybe 400, maybe $500 million, depending if Dwayne Johnson appears in it. It could be higher. So, like I said, it's if the Batman fails, which unlikely, if it does, things are gonna happen. If the Batman fails, shit's gonna happen. If Suicide Squad fails, I think you'll start to see a transition of things happening with Walter, but they'll wait until Batman before they start making decisions, which is why, Nazgul, you are totally right. The China numbers. China is the second biggest movie market in the world, right?
And tell me about the numbers, Trey.
Tell you about the numbers. It's China, for a film to succeed, it has to do well in China most of the time, right? So here's why it's very interesting. China, Zack Snyder's Justice League, it was a smash hit. It's a smash hit right now. It was just released in China because that was one of the bullshits with Zack Snyder's Justice League. They didn't release it globally right away to everyone. China had to wait just a couple days ago to finally see it. So some people probably pirated it. Over 250 million views within 5 days, which already beats Endgame with 240 million.
What?
Yeah, guys. A film that supposedly it's the same thing as a few years ago, just some extended scenes for those who are uneducated about Zack Snyder's Justice League. It beat Endgame, which is the highest grossing film in the box office in history, over $2 billion. It beat Avatar and Titanic and all those fucking films, right? Zack Snyder's Justice League is beating it. Yeah. It is huge. It is breaking records all around. It is, it broke the records for Russia, Italy, all these films this film is doing really, really well in China. And it makes you wonder if they just released this film back in 2017. And my guess is, guys, if they did release it back in 2017, it probably wouldn't have been the 4-hour film. Obviously, there wouldn't be the nightmare scene at the very end, but it would have been that 214-minute cut at least, right? Mm-hmm. That I think still would have outperformed and actually probably had a shot of making $1 billion. It probably would have made $1 billion if they released it, because people would have been like, yeah, this is a good film. But instead we got that Frankenstein monster of a film. Yellow Devil says Trey's bought farms in China did that. Trey's bought farm. Oh my God.
You just constantly have it on repeat.
Oh my god. Yes, I own to let you guys know, I'm actually Bruce Wayne. I have Wayne Enterprises and I can afford all these things.
Then you need to start paying me, big fellow.
Corey's like, give me that money, fool.
Show
But
me the money.
God, Corey. But it has a 9.6, 9.8 rating on Billy's streaming platform for China, which that's really good, right? I think Justice League had a 3.4. So China hated Justice League, but they're loving Zack Snyder's Justice League. AT&T is paying attention to the success of Zack Snyder's Justice League in China because that tells them that if Zack Snyder's Justice League is successful on a streaming platform, how much money could they have gotten for it in theaters? Now, the issue is Warner Brothers, right? Warner Brothers is constantly the obstacle in the way of the Snyderverse. So keep that in mind, because all this tells you is that if those films in the first slate fail and they're seeing the success of Zack Snyder's Justice League like that, AT&T might get involved and be like, I see money here. Why aren't we making money there? They might force Warner Brothers to restore the Snyderverse. So keep that in mind. So it is now the most watched superhero film on streaming platforms in China. But here's another key to restoring the Snyderverse. And I'm pretty sure you guys all know what it is. Army of the Dead has to be an overwhelming success for Netflix. Corey, go ahead and go to the next slide. It has to be an overwhelming success, which means it needs to have incredible streaming numbers, in terms of views, watch time. And Netflix kind of set this precedent that they don't release any of those numbers. So, which is kind of similar to what we haven't seen HBO Max come out with how well certain films have done, like Zack Snyder's Justice League, even Godzilla vs. Kong. But Netflix is going all out with Zack. They really placed a lot of trust in him by doing a prequel series, an animated, film, and with things like that. So, I mean, they're all in. They see Zack has a following. He's money. He literally, the name Zack Snyder is enough for them to put in all that money to Zack Snyder and create this universe around him and gave him free reins. They did not get in his way. You have heard him say, I had a great time filming Army of the Dead. In fact, it was the best time I ever had because they just let me do my thing. It's going to be tough for him to pass up on a future opportunity with Netflix. And another thing that Netflix is doing for Zack Snyder, they are doing something that HBO Max could not even do for Zack Snyder. Corey, go ahead and go to the next slide. Netflix is giving Army of the Dead a theatrical run.
Oh.
Now, some of you are like, well, why is that a huge thing? As someone who works in this particular industry with theater chains, I can tell you that the theater chains they hold a grudge against Netflix. They hold a big grudge because they were the first streaming services. And to them, it's like, we'll never allow ads to play in their, in their films, in the theater for them. They'll never let any of this happen. Right. But Cinemark reported that they were $208 million lost from 2020, right? And they were on the road to recovery. So what did COVID, in a weird way, COVID kind of helped, Zack Snyder's Justice League to get released, but it also allowed for this opportunity, which is now very interesting. The fact that Cinemark Theaters has opened up their theaters for Netflix to have a week run of Army of the Dead is huge, because the fact that a streaming service is now going to create movies that can now play a little bit in the theaters and then on the streaming service, the money returned for them, because Zack is going to bring the money, right? He always does. Maybe it's not the huge money that Warner Brothers, unfairly expects, but it's going to bring in enough money that it makes all the worthwhile. They have I think Netflix has like 208 million subscribers versus HBO Max's 41 million subscribers.
Is it going to be the same cut too, or do you think Zack Snyder will do something a little bit special on the theater version? No, I mean, as Zack says,
Army of the Dead is his director's cut. There is no Snyder cut of Army of the Dead.
Dope.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it looks like a phenomenal film. If it's anything like Dawn of the Dead, which, as you guys have heard me say in some of my trailer reactions, I was not a huge zombie fan until I saw Dawn of the Dead. Much later after the film came out, I avoided that film because I was just afraid of zombies. Never liked it. Then I saw that film and I was like, oh man, it's actually a really good zombie film. If it's anything like that, Army of the Dead is going to be a phenomenal film, and it looks really good. Corey, you and I need to see this in theaters. I actually saw a theater, Cinemark, that has it available Thursday. So I have a question for you guys. I think in Aurora.
Oh, nice.
So a question for you guys, our viewers: do you plan to see Army of the Dead in theaters? Because this is groundbreaking that Netflix, like I said, is being allowed to release this film in theaters first, and then May 21st is going to be on Netflix streaming service. This was not possible, guys, but the theaters are desperate for content, right? They're desperate for new films to drive audiences back to the theaters if you feel safe to do so, right? So, like I said, this was something that HBO Max couldn't even do with Zack Snyder's Justice League. There was a demand for it. A lot of people asked, okay, if you're doing this double release with HBO Max and, the movie theaters, does that mean films that were originally just going to be released on HBO Max can now be released in theaters? But they didn't do it for Zack Snyder's Justice League. They didn't, because I think Warner Brothers had something to stop it. They didn't want it to happen, because just more proof of how much money it would make and completely wipe them out of how wrong they were about that film. So AT&T is paying very close attention to Army of the Dead, because if Army of the Dead is in an insane success, guys, on Netflix, then AT&T is going to be like, why don't we have this guy? What?
Interesting. Now, they're just doing a 1 week special run of it.
Yeah. So
that's going to be May. When did you say that's going to be in select theaters? May 14th.
Technically, they said May 14th to the 21st, I think. But I saw it. I saw that they're doing like the early release on Thursday, the 13th. For some of the theaters, like at 7 p.m., kind of like what they do with some of those films. But
and who's doing the soundtrack for that? Is that
that's Tom Holkenborg?
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So it's going to be wild. And
are they going to have that in? Oh shoot! I just lost Adobe. Adobe, like, do they have Adobe in Cinemark? Like what?
I'm not sure. I usually go to AMC theaters personally, but because I'm a Stubbs member, I think they call it. But to me, it's kind of funny because it's like Netflix kind of stole Warner Media's idea. They just took it a step further, right? They just said, okay, we're a streaming service. Maybe it's time for us to get into the movie theaters, because what's now different from them than any other studio? Warner Brothers has HBO Max. Paramount has Paramount Plus. Disney has Disney Plus. Universal has God, I'm totally spacing what Universal has. But there's all these studios now have a streaming service. So what's really different from Netflix other than they don't have a studio that puts films in theaters? Now they do. Army of the Dead will be the first one. So they kind of took HBO Max's idea to do kind of a dual release. They're just doing it better because they're like, fuck it, might as well make the money. Sorry. So Eric Patterson says, hey, Eric, it's good to have you here, bro. Yes, in theaters. Hell yeah. I'm going to see in theaters too, because in my opinion, guys, while it was very nice to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League on my TV here at home in the comfort of my house, I loved that film, right? It's easily one of my favorite comic book films, superhero films of all time. Now, I think I would have enjoyed it all the more if I was in a Dolby theater hearing the rumble of the seats and all the explosions all around me, because, in my opinion, there's nothing better than the theater experience. But Nazgul says, hashtag Zack Snyder Army of the Dead. Yeah.
I'm going to jump on with you there, Trey. When we saw Godzilla vs. Kong in theaters, Adobe, holy cow, man, hearing the roars, hearing Godzilla just scream. And then I actually tried to watch it on HBO Max later,
Mhm.
and I struggled a little bit. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
complete it all. I was like, man, it just like the
Mhm.
chills of hearing, the roars. Like,
Corey, do that one more time, please. Oh man, I want to make a GIF of that. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, Yellow Devil. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy.
Sadly, no cinema's still closed over here in Yellow Devil. That sucks, dude.
Have they given you guys any timeline of when that's going to be opening up over there?
Oh, for Germany, I'm not sure. Maybe Yellow Devil can give us more.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, right. How's it going? Oh man, yeah. I mean, I won't lie. So watching Wonder Woman 1984 on Christmas Day, that's hilarious. Yeah. Watching Wonder Woman 1984 Christmas Day, I did not enjoy my first viewing of that film. I was like, this is one of the worst films since Birds of Prey. Honestly, I'm being honest with you guys. For my initial reaction, I've watched it a few more times on HBO Max, and I was like, okay, it's kind of growing on me. There's some things, but there's still some things I hated about it. But now instead of me absolutely hating the film, I kind of go like, yeah, it was okay. I would not say it was like, oh my God, but I saw it in theaters with my wife, and I was like, man, this was more enjoyable. I probably would have gone like, oh, this is an okay film, and then build it to being, oh, this is maybe a good film. Not a great film, but a good film. But so the theater experience makes all the difference in the world, sometimes enjoying these big action-packed films. But so with Army of the Dead, AT&T is paying attention to how successful this is going to be. Now, here's the bad part about Army of the Dead for restoring the SnyderVerse. Zach had a wonderful time making Army of the Dead. And with him just presenting that idea, Warner Brothers I've heard that Warner Brothers apparently had the rights to Army of the Dead. Zach approached them first about Army of the Dead. They said no. They sold it to Netflix, is what I've heard. I'm trying to remember. I think Geekosity said that, if I recall correctly. So they had a chance for Army of the Dead. Zack Snyder loved making it. He had such a damn good time making it. They stayed out of his way, and they were like, dude, you want a prequel series? Here you go. You want an animated series? Here you go. You want a theatrical release? Here you go. They are rolling out the red carpet for Zack Snyder because they know what this man brings to the table. So if it's a huge success, and AT&T is like, well, shit, like we need to get this guy back. Why the fuck would Zach want to leave? He has said in an interview, I want to build worlds. I want to build universes. He wants to do a Star Wars universe. Obviously, that would be Disney, but which some sources have said that Kevin Feige has hit him up about doing a Ghost Rider thing. I don't know how true that is, but
So Warner Brothers sold?
That's what I've heard. I don't know how credible that is. I think almost certain Geekosity said that. Someone said that. That said they had a source within Warner Brothers that he presented it to them first, which is not surprising to me because Zach has always presented his films since 300 to Warner Brothers. He presented Sucker Punch to Warner Brothers. He did it with Watchmen and so far, everything else, with the DCEU. And I think even Legends of the Guardians was Warner Brothers. So, I mean, he's a Warner Brothers guy. But here, Netflix, he had such a wonderful time. They enjoyed his product. And who knows if they actually enjoyed it. Maybe they just are like, yeah, whatever you want, man. It's Zack Snyder. They just put that trust in him. So Eric Patterson says, this is true. HBO said no to this zombie movie. Yeah, they said no to this.
If that's all true, then, and they don't think that Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to work, just let Netflix do it. Give it a try. Let's
sell
I call your bluff. Come on, Warner Brothers. If you're watching.
Yeah, I mean,
do it.
Yeah. Honestly, that would be one of the greatest things ever probably to happen in the DC universe is if Warner Brothers sold it. If they're really in debt, I hope they're considering it. But if you think about it, they don't want to sell their cash cow because right now the DC universe is the most profitable thing they have going for them. With Aquaman made $1 billion. The Joker was such a low budget film, and they had passed up on the Joker film. They kept saying no, 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 no. And then Todd Phillips finally got a group that wanted to do it. And then they kept changing leadership around, kind of giving them issues with it. And it was such a low budget film with Joaquin Phoenix that all of a sudden, look, they made $1 billion. It was like, oh my God, no one expected Joker to be $1 billion, So the fact that it did, they need DC to make money for them. They need it. And at that point, if AT&T sees the success of Army of the Dead and they try to get Zack Snyder back, it's going to be really difficult to do that if they don't get rid of Hamada and possibly Ann Sarnoff. I don't know if Ann Sarnoff is the issue. Zach has said, according to Uchi on Sil Abdul's channel, he came on and talked about Zach had told him during one of their fundraising videos that they did on YouTube that Zach said for the SnyderVerse to be possible, they had to get rid of, or at least Hamada and Sarnoff had to change their minds. I don't know if Sarnoff is so much of the issue. I think she's more of just, she trusts Hamada to do his job. So if Hamada tells her no to the SnyderVerse, she's going to be like, okay, no to the SnyderVerse, because I don't see why she would have any beef with Zach. She wasn't around when Zach was there, so I think the issue is Walter Hamada. So if his universe fails and Zach's success with Army of the Dead, I think that will convince AT&T all the more to look at Zach and be like, what do we have to do to keep you? Which at that time, Warner Brothers is going to have to do things that they're going to be very, very not happy to get over with. Obviously they're going to have to pay Zach a chunk of money because he has Netflix, who would gladly pay him and do whatever he wants. Warner Brothers is going to have to guarantee to Zach, okay, we'll let you do the SnyderVerse, but if they tell him, but you're going to have to listen to us, you're going to have to take our notes and put them into your movies. You're going to have to cut down the film to a 2.5 hour, 2 hour, film. Then Zach is going to be like, well, fuck you guys then.
I think if it wasn't for the fans, that there'd be no way in hell that he would think about going back to do another movie with WB. Because you said earlier, I'm spacing the name. The director Nolan. Nolan doesn't want to work with him anymore. I could imagine that Zach probably feels similar to that because Nolan and Zach are friends, if I recall in previous conversations.
They're great friends. It was Nolan and Deborah Snyder who told Zach not to watch the Justice League film because they were worried of how badly it would hurt him. He's a passionate guy. Everything he does, he puts his heart and soul in. And to see it trash the way they did in Justice League, he would be pretty hurt and pissed off too. So that's why I say it's going to be really hard to pull Zach away from Netflix. He will, as he always says, he will listen to any offer, but the offer that AT&T and Warner Media would have to present Zach to make it enticing for him to come back, I don't think Warner Brothers wants to do that unless if AT&T says, get on the fucking train, the SnyderVerse train, or you're fucking out. That's what's going to come down to.
So do you think, and I haven't really followed this much on AT&T's social media pages, but are people blasting that pretty heavily with the hashtag Restore the SnyderVerse?
The AT&T pages?
Yeah.
I know they're tagged in a lot. I don't know if AT&T really has like a thing that, people go on and spam them, but I would say it's...
Maybe that's where we start spamming them next.
Well, I would say there's no reason to tag Warner Brothers anymore because they just don't give a fuck, and they'll use it as like, oh, look how they're abusing us, harassing us. We need to stay positive. We need to make Army of the Dead a huge fucking success. You need to stream it over and over again. You need to tell your friends. The 208 million Netflix subscribers need to jump on Army of the Dead and check it out. And if you can safely go to the movie theaters or feel comfortable doing it, go to the movie theaters and watch Army of the Dead. It needs to be huge in theaters because if it's huge in theaters, then that's going to convince Zach all the more where Netflix is a place to be. And it will also, the more Zack wants to stay at Netflix, and Netflix wants him to stay because of this success, the more AT&T will look at that and go like, fuck, we have to make this deal quick, and we have to give the deal of a lifetime to Zack. Because if you think about it, Zack's plans for the future of the DC will require him at least another 10 years, if not more, to complete his overall arc and vision with, doing the Batfleck movie, the Deathstroke thing, the Batman Death in the Family storyline, Cyborg. It's going to take time, which, if you guys are curious at all, if you want to kind of get a taste of what Zack's original vision for the Justice League sequel, Corey, can you go to the next slide, please? Someone actually took the time to do this dreamscapes of Zack Snyder's Justice League storyboards of the original SnyderVerse. They went, there's AT&T has a facility down in, I want to say, Dallas, Texas, where they opened up an exhibit for the Snyder Cut, and they have some of the original storyboards. You guys probably heard about this in one of our earlier videos, but someone actually took the time. I think they're called the Daily Planets. Let me look at that real quick. So it's the Daily Planet DC.com actually took the storyboards and colorized it for you guys and made this really cool PDF file, this kind of PowerPoint slide that, if you guys kind of want to know what he was thinking about doing, definitely check it out. Zack has said this storyboard is no longer relevant, that he has since created new storylines that he think would be relevant in our times for his future arcs of the SnyderVerse. But I really enjoyed reading them, and the fact that someone took the time to really kind of spruce it up and colorize it and just make like a really cool thing out of it. Definitely check that out, because it kind of lets you know what we could have had in a way. And I can't recall who said this earlier, but you are so right. Whoever it was, I think, oh man, I'm totally spacing. Whoever said we are the key to the Snyderverse.
Nazgul.
Was that Nazgul?
Mm-hmm.
That is without question true. You are the key to the Snyderverse. We are the key to the Snyderverse. If we stop, if we give up, if we believe in the headlines that people are saying that the Snyderverse is dead, then it will be dead. It will be a dead universe. We'll never see the continuation. We'll just see the characters that they decided to keep, like Gal, Jason, Ezra. It'll be dead. Thank you, Corey. We are the key. So if you want to convince AT&T, stay positive. Don't spam people. Don't be rude or just mean or negative. Do what we're doing. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Please, AT&T, we would really love to see the continuation of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Or get involved in the video that we're doing, with the Hallelujah, to show the community that we are a positive community and that we care. Keep raising money for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. George, we are the key. Yes, we are, George. Absolutely. We are the key to the Snyderverse. It's not Dwayne Johnson. It's not AT&T, it's us. Because if we keep pushing, if we just let it go, if we say, oh, it's over, bro. I had someone, when I posted this video on a group page and telling, hey, come join us for our live discussion, someone said, dude, it's dead. Yeah, it's dead if you have that attitude. But remember, they said the Snyder Cut wasn't going to exist, that they would never release it. And here we are. I think it's a harder road for us to restore the Snyderverse, but it's not impossible. Remember, as Batman says, it's only impossible until it's done, right? It's only impossible until we do it. So hashtag restore the Snyderverse, hashtag release the Ayer cut, hashtag make the Batfleck movie, hashtag Deathstroke HBO Max. Anytime those trending events come up, get involved in it and be positive, right? Don't let them give the excuse that we're toxic, because that won't work anymore, right? Because then we're not going to get more people involved. We need to invite new people into this community. The new people who said, oh, Zack Snyder's Justice League is stupid. Why are they doing that? And then watch the film and go like, oh, that was actually a much better film. I love seeing that on the DC pages that I follow on Facebook. If I posted something, when I first started on YouTube, if I posted something about Zack Snyder's Justice League on those DC Batman fan pages, I was always harassed by people. I was always harassed because they'd be like, oh, Ben Affleck sucked in Justice League. There's no such thing as the Snyder Cut. Oh, you're stupid, all that stuff. But now when I post the Zack Snyder Justice League thing or video that I did on those pages, all of a sudden I get hashtag restore the SnyderVerse, hashtag, oh my God, it was amazing. Like Zack did a crazy good job. Oh, Ben Affleck, would love to see. It's a bummer we didn't see him and Deathstroke have that Arkham Origins fight scene. People are changing their minds about that film because they saw Zack's vision, and it was a great vision. It was a great film. So people are changing their mind. We need to welcome new people. We need to keep trending positivity with hashtag restore the SnyderVerse and all those other hashtags. And we just need to not give up, because if we don't give up, if we keep pushing and keep pushing hard, when Zack Snyder's Justice League comes available on DVD for pre-order, sell the hell out of it. When, just keep watching it over and over again. Right? Because keep telling people about it, keep getting people involved to watch that.
Sell the hell out of it.
Sorry, what was that?
Sell the hell out of it.
Buy the hell out of it.
Buy.
Yeah, sorry, buy the hell out of it. Make sure it's sold out. Thank you. Sell the hell out of it. Hey, if you want to buy it and then start giving out for, to your friends for Christmas, I might do. Oh, actually, that's a great idea. Corey, you know what you're getting for Christmas now, buddy.
Trey, you know what you're getting for Christmas.
You all are getting Zack Snyder's Justice League for Christmas. Congratulations. Honestly, hey, this is a question that just popped up in my head. Would you guys want us to do a Zack Snyder's Justice League 4K DVD giveaway? Right now we got the Release the Snyder Cut book, but we could do a Zack Snyder's Justice League DVD giveaway. Yes. That might be kind of cool. Let us know if you would like us to do that in the comments. I might consider that. But before we end tonight's video, guys, first off, I just wanted to say, in the words of Bruce Wayne, faith, Alfred, faith. We have to have faith that we can restore the SnyderVerse. It's not over. Zack said it's not over. He will. I don't think he'll ever say the SnyderVerse is dead. It's up to you. You are the key. Don't let up. Keep doing what we're doing. Positivity, though. Make sure we're being positive. Raising money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We're so close to $1 million, right? Don't go spamming people. Don't spam hashtag restore the SnyderVerse on places it shouldn't be. Like that. Maybe it's a sensitive subject, but just because AT&T or HBO Max posted something about stopping Asian hate kind of thing, don't post it on that, but post it on when maybe AT&T just simply says, hey, how's your weekend going? Great. I would really love to see the continuation of Zack Snyder's Justice League. I know they've done posts like that when they say happy Halloween when that comes up, or happy 4th of July, saying hey, happy 4th of July. Would really love to see hashtag this restore the SnyderVerse continue. Be positive about it. We can do this, but it's up to us. So have faith, Alfred, faith. So anyways, before we end, guys, I just want to say to all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. I know it's tomorrow. Happy Martha's Day. Why did you say that name? Oh, yeah.
Happy Martha's Day.
Here's the funny thing is that Corey is Superman, I'm Batman, and yes, we have the same mother because we're brothers. Why did you say Lisa?
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Thank you, guys. You truly are the super Wonder Women out there that's, make us young men and young girls into the people we are today. So can't thank you guys enough. Mama, I love you. Bat Mom, you're amazing.
Give your mom the thing that all mothers want this year. The mother box.
The mother box. Oh man, that's awesome. But thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to smash that like, share, and subscribe, and that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And thank you guys so much. I'm your host, Trey.
And I'm Corey.
And don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bat time.
Same bat channel. See you later, guys. Thank you so much.
See you later,
Happy
guys.
Mother's Day.
Sure, we got done in earlier than 2 hours. This is great. So
listen, 2 hours. we're moving up in the world, dude.
We're getting there. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Cheers.